Hi, my name's Buffy Wackett, and I'm here to teach you how to make Hudson Bay mitts. So first, we're going to check to make sure you guys have everything. In your packages, you should have 2 needles. The darning needle for the yarn, and then the little needle for our thread that's in your package. So you'll have 2 like this, 2 this, and 2 this. You're also gonna need scissors, and you can use pins if you want, but you don't have to. So first we gotta make sure we have a left and right mitten. So if you look at these, they sort of go out like this. So I always face them out. And then line this up like this. Got to make sure that they're opposites, otherwise you'll have 2 lefts or 2 rights. And line it up. Then these are the thumbs. And this is how it's going to go on here. So this. In your packages, I've trimmed the thumbs and stuff, so they should be all right. This one needs to be trimmed a little bit. But you could do this too if you want to make sure that's lined up properly, but it should be good in the packages. So you can pin the thumbs like this if you want, just so you make sure that you got a left and right. Then we're gonna get the thread and the needle, and we're gonna do a stitch around all of this, just so it's easier to do the fancy stitch around the sides. Okay, I've threaded the needle. Don't make it too long, otherwise it gets knotted up. And you don't have to have it doubled either. So you can go like this, and I usually start on this end, and I just start in the middle, and then I just tie this. Pretty simple. We're just getting it so it's easier to make form of the mitt. So now I'm left-handed too, so don't use the same hand as me if you're not left-handed. Just whatever's comfortable. You can go the other way. And you're just doing like a quick slip stitch to hold it together, and just a little bit into the fabric, into the felt. What I've noticed, you can do this whole thing, but I find that if you do it all around, it's hard to do the stitching with the yarn through here. So you can just do a little bit and then do the yarn and then continue on with this, like just sort of stick it in here. I'll show you later on what I mean. I can sew it all and then do the stitching through here, but it's more difficult. Once we get to the thumb, I'll show you. So just go around all the way to here. And when we get to there, I'll show you what way to go from there. Okay, I'm getting short on string or thread. So really all you have to do is just like how you started off. I'm continuing on here until I get to a certain... You don't want to go too short, otherwise it's hard to knot it. So what I'm doing is I'm just going into the middle. I'm just picking up a bit of the felt, and I'm just going to make a knot, and then I'll get some more thread and continue on. Do it a couple times just so it doesn't undo. Mostly this is for making it easier to use the yarn around it anyway, so it's not that big of a deal if it comes undone. So now I'll have to get a bit more, but yeah, don't make massive long ones, otherwise it just knots all up. And it is fine if you want to double it, if you've been used to doing it that way. It's not that big of a deal. I gave quite a bit of thread, so you should have enough. Make sure you keep on checking to make sure you know where this thumb part's going to be. So right there. So I know I still have about an inch more to go. I'm just going to take this pin out for now. Okay, so now we've come to this section. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip over the thumb area and just continue down through here. This. This side could be a little bit longer, but we can always trim that. Around the cuffs, we do the blanket stitch. I'm just going to take this pin out. Okay, so I'm just going to open this up a little bit, and in the inside I'm just going to tie this off by just going on into the inside fabric and making a knot, 2 of them preferably. There. Now you cut that off. Okay, so this is a little uneven right here. Just make sure you don't cut your strings there. Just gonna straighten this out. There. Okay, the last part to stitch is up here and down here. So just like how we ended and began, just make a little knot in here. Two is always better. Okay, so bring this to the outside. And now we're just gonna go, just like we did around the outside of this part. Same thing, slip stitch around the thumb. Oh, lost my needle. And that same angle across, and instead of going way on the bottom down here, you go just a little bit under here. So you're making tiny little cross stitches in the corners. So this one, it's about 1 centimeter. You can go whatever you want, but I'm roughly maybe a little bit more. You can put dots on if you want it to be like totally perfect, but it's all right if it's not. So I went on another angle, and so I'm going to go under it on this side, and another tiny little cross stitch on this side, and then just follow it in a line up on that same angle that you've been doing, and then underneath on there, that. So you get your tiny little crosses in here. I'm just about coming to the top of the practice. Now we're going to start doing the stitch up the mitten. Starting a little bit higher because of the blanket stitch. Leave a tail on an angle across. And just like we did on the sample piece, and start going up and around. every once in a while, check on the inside just to make sure that your stitches are tighter in there. Once in a while, it'll get a little bit baggy, so have to pull it a little bit more. Okay, we've wrapped around the top and now we've come to the thumb area. So we're gonna just continue down this area to finish this section off. And we'll come back to do the thumb. In this area, you just take that like that, and then this next one, just go right in here. Just like that. After the stitch is all done, it actually it rounds it off quite a bit. It's not just flat. It's looking like I'm going to run out of yarn here. And remember not to go right to the end because we've got the blanket stitch. Let's see. Yeah, that's good enough. You could go one more. Yep. We'll finish these ends after. Okay, so we're gonna do the thumb area without this stitched. Okay, so we're gonna start right in this area. We're gonna go probably just right in. Not quite where that stitch is, but a little bit over. Pull this through. Make sure you leave 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And so continue on with the stitch. Also make sure when you pull this through here that you don't pull it right through. There we go. I gotta shorten this. There we go. So we'll just continue with that stitch around the thumb. This is the most difficult area, but with this open, it's definitely going to be way easier. You want to get at least just about all the way down the thumb before you go back with the yarn, with the thread. It's just so much easier with this hole open. Okay, actually, I'm going to keep this on the outside. I'm just going to probably put it up here, out of my way for now. And then I'm going to get my thread. And just like before, you're following, you got to make sure that this is at least close to it. You can put a pin in there. We did before, because this part, yeah, you want to have it so it's not buckling too much. So we're going to go in here. There's the string from before. So I'm just going to take this through the middle. I'm going to just tie it right to it. The one thing about felt, even if there is a little bit of a knot in your thread, it most likely will pull through anyways. Okay, so we're just gonna take this and try to, you could put some more pins in here just to hold it better. Especially this corner. Yeah, and then just do the slip stitch how we were doing before. Don't mind my dogs. There we go, we can take this pin out. Take this pin out too. Now we just send this to the middle, and we are going to tie this off. You can roll it a little bit. Two knots. Okay, I'm just gonna continue doing this stitch down this side, and then this mitt is done for this stitch, and then we've just got the cuff with the blanket stitch. There we go. Now I can see that this is a little bit uneven, so I'm gonna just trim it a bit. You don't have to go the whole way. You can just get it so it's even. The blanket stitch will hide a lot of it, but there. Okay, onto the blanket stitch. Okay, with the blanket stitch, we've got like 3 little tails in here we need to tie off. So what I'll do is I'll start the first blanket stitch like right in the end of this. Not quite right in it, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it through here. And this little tail, I'm gonna tie it to it. Just so it doesn't come undone. I double it. You can clip it. Not too short like that. Okay, first thing, it's just gonna be straight. So you're gonna go right back into roughly where that is. And the way you have to hold it this way, not this way. Okay, I'm gonna make it like right there. So pull it through. Oh. And through there like that, and bring it through this, and slowly pull it, and then it goes on top. So then I've saw people where they take a pen. I've only got a pencil crown here, so it's not going to work, but they take one of their fingers or their thumb and they mark a mark here and a mark here. And then they go like this. They put it next there so they know that they want it to be that far. But I'm just going to eyeball it. The finger method is definitely better. I've saw where people put it on the little piece of cardboard too. Once you get going, this one gets linked to the one behind, it'll pull it. Right now it's on a bit of an angle. It'll straighten itself out. So through the bottom, through here, pull. Yeah, you can do as big or small spaces as you want. The bigger they are, this part sort of gets droopy a bit. Just about around it, around the cuff. Okay, I should have did this over on the other side, but actually I'm gonna do it right now with the little strands on the inside. I'm just gonna tie it onto this. The other one, I'll show you another way if you miss. Oh, we'll come back. I'm just gonna get a crochet hook or whatever and just tie it to that. It'll look better that way. So we're just about all the way around. And then this last one, just link it around there just to join it up. Make sure that it's around this. Yeah, pulls it like that. So that's the blanket stitch. That's the end of this left-handed glove. Other than the tie. So let's get it down into the glove somewhere and do some knots. I'm just linking it around this. With yarn, you really only have to do one. Another thing sometimes I do, this should be all right. I get the yarn and I break it down here and I do another knot like that. Okay, that's your left hand done, and now you just got to repeat it. Go back to the video to the beginning and finish this one. So some other things that you can do on it, like on the first ones I ever made here, I actually beaded on the cuff, or not on the front, sorry, not the cuff, over here or whatever. I've saw where people have embroidered on it. They've took other felt you can buy at, they have like the really thin felt at Ace Hardware. You can make like little designs like circles or whatever, or even a little sample that I gave you, like that had the needles in it. You can cut a circle and you can actually do the blanket stitch around it and then sew it onto it and make like little circles or whatever on it. Or you can just have them plain like this, because you got the Hudson Bay. These ones got the two-tone color or whatever. It's all up to you. Yeah, and they're really warm too. Well, I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. I hope you get all the information out of this video. If not, I could plan to have like a get together or something at somewhere and help anyone that's having trouble with making them or whatever. And thanks again. This is my first tutorial, so hopefully it works out all right.